attempt to regulate the exploding industry.
We know very
All right. Even as our report continues, our Kampala-based correspondent Solomon Serwanja now joins us from Uganda's parliament, where members of parliament are expected to debate the ban on sports betting this afternoon. Solomon Serwanja, good afternoon. Bring us up to speed with the move behind this particular ban and what the MPs are planning to do in the debate scheduled this afternoon.
You, Jesse. Let's start by looking at the facts and figures here, because you have about 2,000 gambling, agencies here in Uganda and betting companies here. You have about 70% of Ugandans under 30 participating in betting. That's quite a significant one, considering that we have betting companies going down. As far as villages are concerned, in rural areas, you'll find a betting company there. And so you'd want to think that the significant revenues that are coming through. On average, in 2017, figures point that the betting and gambling industry contributed about $44 million. That's quite significant figure to run away from, and that means there's some contribution to the economy. But also we've had job employments coming through for the different gambling companies. Now, Jesse, before we get into this conversation, Betway, for example, one of the biggest betting companies here in Uganda, is sponsoring one of the biggest football club here, Ondum Paraka. Betway also sponsors the Betway Cobs here in Uganda. They have been very, very key and significant in terms of, empowering and supporting sports in Uganda. And yet, the president thinks otherwise. He actually thinks that instead of the youth going to work, they're actually spending the very little money that they're earning to bet. But the latest on this issue, this afternoon, the Finance Minister, Matia Kasaija, came out clearly to make some sort of clarification on that statement that was made by his junior minister, David Bahati, saying that the ban, or call it, there will not be any more issuance of licenses to foreign companies to come and participate in any form of betting. Let me make it clear. If you have any farm, UK farm, for example, or the US farm that has established its roots here in Uganda, their licenses will not be renewed. But those who are applying for licenses will actually not get these licenses. But hey, to put this in perspective and in context, is seasoned journalist Dalton Kawesa, who joins us on Bottom Line Africa this afternoon. Welcome to Bottom Line Africa, Dalton. Let's start with a conversation on this ban. What do you make of it?
Well, you look at it from two sides from my perspective. One, the fact that the president has realized that there is a problem. One, Solomon, I can tell you, betting has been used by bigger economies to distribute as a distribution mechanism for wealth. But when you look at the wealth that we have and the household income, let's say $710, you realize that is very low for a household. So people end up betting and distributing the small income they already have. At the end of the day, they're not participating in any other activity, majority of the youth. So it's one sigh of relief that government can think about banning or regulating the betting. But on the other hand, you also look at it this way. Has government created an environment that is going to consume people that have not been employed, but somehow they use betting as a window of hope and get some income? Have you created that environment where the industries, where the alternative employment? Because the people who are employed in betting, you've just mentioned, I heard you that there's employment opportunity. Have you created, if those betting companies leave, have you created environment where these people will be consumed by other sectors?
Let's talk about the fact that there are foreign companies that are being targeted here. Where do you think government is actually taking this move?
Well, when you look at it this way, the foreign companies that have come into play, the reality is that they tap into the local currencies and convert it in foreign currency, for instance, the dollar, and take it away. Solomon, this economy is so fragile. You don't want to take away a single dollar out of it, because that means that whatever you're going to purchase, even other things that you use, you're increasing on the dollar outflow out of the country. Yet you can retain it within the country.
And speaking of which, that looks like profit repatriation.
Exactly.
They come in, get the monies and get it out,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Let's talk about matters of economy, because let's not blind ourselves or hide our heads under the ground, because these betting companies contribute significantly to the revenues that are coming to the country. Won't this have an impact on the economy?
Well, Solomon, the question is, so they contribute Where do they, because it's not a fact of production that you're monitoring the production process. People get money and put it in. That means a Solomon Seranja down from your village of Kabulasoke, you have 20,000, you're going to the sports betting company to bet that 20,000. In other words, there is no value added to that money. It is still the same money that's going to remain in the economy, because if I don't present it to the betting company, it remains in my pocket. You get it? So I've not spent it to the betting company. It has remained in the circulation. It is a lie that this money is going to be lost, because it's the same money that I get from the border that I'm riding and go to the betting company. It's the same. Instead of betting it this time, perhaps I'm going to go into agriculture.
Dalton Kawesa, many thanks for joining us on Bottom Line Africa. All right, so Jesse, let me tell you this, because I've done betting before. I remember there's a time I had some little money. I put it up, they took it. I removed I had a watch. The guy told me, put it up and I'll give you back your money. And I removed it and I gave it up. And they took it. They even told me, you can even bring in your phone. So I removed my line and then gave the phone away. And I remember walking down that street very cold. But it speaks about what betting is. It's actually a habit. It's sort of an addiction that is not about to go away even when government puts a ban on some foreign companies. Jesse.
All right, many thanks, Solomon Seranja. It's always a pleasure. I hope you don't bet, but just note that Bet Lion, one of Africa's largest